Oh, my hat! Just step on it. Kick, get in front of it, kick it. Hi all, welcome back to my channel and our traveling adventures. On day 2 of the Florida Keys retreat, the wind was whipping pretty hard. We decided to head south to Key West, where the wind wasn't as bad, to see what adventures could be found. While looking for a spot to put in our kayaks, we ran across the USCGC Ingham, an old decommissioned Coast Guard cutter that had been turned into a museum. Being prior Navy and seeing a chance to board an old vessel, we decided to take a tour. I was really excited and looking forward to seeing the inside of a military ship again. It had been 26 years since I last stepped foot on the USS Dubuque, the ship I was stationed on between 1991 and 94. And even though this was a Coast Guard ship and not a Navy ship, I knew there would be enough similarities that would bring back some great memories. Just the sound of my feet walking up the gangplank to the ship took me back.
Hi.
Hey, permission to come aboard.
So, Ingham was commissioned in 36, decommissioned in 1988. At the time of her decommissioning, she was the longest continuously serving, most decorated ship in U.S. service. When they shut her down, this was the last of the class. They pretty much got up and left everything here. So when you walk through, the stuff you see on desks and in boxes, that's been here since 1988.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Time capsule. The only thing we did, we cleaned out the cruise berthing area, and we put a bunch of artifacts in there. Okay?
Okay. Walking down the first ladder, or stairs for you landlubbers, I forgot just how steep they were. This ladder took you down to the entrance of the ship's laundry. We were currently in the aft or rear portion of the ship on the second deck, which is one deck below the main deck. The next area we visited were the officer quarters. The Ingham carried 12 to 16 officers and anywhere from 107 to 202 enlisted men, depending on its mission. Officers appeared to be two to a room and had their own wardroom, which is where they could relax and have their meals served. As we left the area, I noticed a sound-powered phone and explained its use to Miss kayak7seas. They are used for both routine and emergency communications on ships between key locations. The next area we would enter is the chief's quarters. This is the berthing area for the senior enlisted with the rank of E7 or above. Their racks are stacked too high. They have their own lounge area across from the berthing. The berthing area is a designated sleeping area on a ship. The next area gave us a bird's eye view of the machine room. The Ingham was a steam propulsion ship with 2 boilers. This tour confined us to the second deck and above, so we didn't get a chance to check out the main engine room, a room which I am all too familiar with aboard the USS Dubuque. The steam boilers are what gave the ship its power, and here's a shout out to my BT and MM friends who work tirelessly in our engine room. As you can see aboard a ship, passageways are very narrow, and there aren't very many wide open spaces. Each room has a watertight door that is usually closed while underway to ensure watertight integrity on the ship in the event of a disaster. This door leads to what appears to be Damage Control Central, where you would find the engineer of the watch. In the event of an emergency, this would be a very busy area. Sailors are not only trained in their specific job, they are also trained in skills for emergencies like firefighting, deflooding, and first aid. When a ship is underway, all sailors are the ship's emergency responders. OBA, you would wear that during a fire. It's got a little canister. The next space we would enter was the enlisted crew's mess decks. This is an area where the sailors would line up for their 3 meals a day. While there was a job specifically for mess cooks, new sailors to a ship will most likely spend 60 to 90 days as a mess crank, where they would work alongside the cooks by cleaning or serving food. Mess cranking was a way for each division to augment the normal number of mess specialists assigned to a ship. As we came up to this wide open space, I'm not sure exactly what it was used for prior to becoming the museum portion of the ship. I can only guess that it was possibly either enlisted berthing or perhaps part of the mess decks, since the mess area looked really small for the 200 sailors that would be serving honor. There were many pictures and artifacts to look at, but to be honest, I just wanted to see more of the inside of the ship. The ship is 327 feet or 100 meters long and is able to reach speeds up to 21 knots. It was launched in 1934 and served with distinction during World War II and would take part in 3 campaigns in the Pacific Theater. The Ingham earned 2 Presidential Unit citations for her service during the Vietnam War.
This is crew berthing.
Next stop would be the enlisted crew berthing. The racks are stacked 3 tall, with each rack having what is called a coffin locker. The top of the rack, if you notice, lifts up, giving each sailor storage space for their uniforms. Each sailor would also have a locker, although these lockers look larger than what we had. Notice that there is very little room between the racks, and most of these racks had privacy curtains, which was a rarity on my ship. Generally, the junior sailors would have the top rack, the senior sailors would have the middle rack, and those in between would score a bottom rack. Climbing the ladder back topside or the main deck, we got a glimpse of some natural light, something sometimes sailors would be too busy to see during the day. The next narrow passageway led to the ship's barber shop and to the ship's store.
Ship's barber.
The next ladder took us up to the captain's quarters. As you can see, that area is quite a bit fancier than the rest.
Captain's quarters? Yeah, captain's.
The next deck up would be the radio room, the communication hub of the ship.
Depends on the ship. I mean, newer ships won't.
The final ladder for this tour, or at least as high as they would allow us to go, would bring us to the bridge where the ship is driven. Unfortunately, I didn't capture any good footage of the bridge, and most of it was closed off. However, as we come around the corner, we do get a spectacular view of the bow of the ship and the Ingham's mighty guns.
There's your guns.
This self-guided tour aboard the Ingham had brought back many memories of the shipboard life. The 3 years I spent aboard the USS Dubuque was an amazing time which holds the most memorable experiences. Because of my time in the Navy, I had been to Japan, Malaysia, Singapore, Philippines, Korea, Hong Kong, Thailand, Guam, Australia, and Russia. While aboard the ship, I couldn't wait to get off the ship, but after so many years away from the ship, I'd love to sail her again. Currently, the USS Dubuque is in Bremerton, Washington, awaiting its final disposition. Stripped clean of its parts to keep the fleet going, so becoming a museum is unlikely. I want to thank you for watching this video, and hope that you don't mind the lack of kayaks in this video. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up. Join Team Kayak7seas by subscribing to my channel, hit that notification bell, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Until next time, I hope to see you out on the water someday.